back to the big go. The Mac Tools U.S. Nationals on WFO Radio. Here's Joe Castello.
Lucas Oil Raceway, the U.S. Nationals, and there have been some big stars this weekend, but none bigger than NHRA legend Shirley Muldowney. Shirley, welcome to WFO Radio.
Thrilled to be here.
That is so wonderful. And Alan Reinhart with us. Alan.
There are no stars in NHRA bigger than Shirley Muldowney. That's why we had to get her on the show.
And you got a grandstand named after you this weekend. Let's start from that moment, because I'm looking out right out of the tower. We have it. It looks so beautiful, Shirley, and forever.
It is not a grandstand. It is the grandstand.
The top Eliminator Club, the best seat in the house.
At the
track.
best racetrack in motorsports. So you can't get any better than that. It's a dream, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and it's all going to be a dream.
You were genuinely surprised when Tom Compton gave you the plaque and made the announcement out there. Tom, of course, the president of NHRA.
Nuts surprised. I could not believe it. I just thought, well, they're going to give me a plaque for coming to Indy and kind of spending a lot of time with the fans, and I can find room for a plaque in my office. It's getting pretty crowded, but I mean, we were just stunned, speechless. You know, what do you say? So I don't know what I said, but it was hard. Yeah, I cried. I did cry, and I did everything I could to gather it up, and I couldn't do it. I simply couldn't do it.
Over the years, I've seen you in high-pressure situations, in points implications, in, I mean, almost fistfights at times, in big arguments. And
Yes.
I have never seen you that emotional. I mean, I think it was a touching moment for everybody that witnessed it. The crowd was holding their breath, and the round of applause at the end was amazing.
I was going, get it, somehow bite your tongue, take a breath. Think of something think of some food that you love, or that you are dying for. I was trying everything I could think of, and everybody's waiting patiently for me to say something, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it out. Other than, wow, holy mackerel. So I know that will be there forever as long as this racetrack is here.
What I took from the moment, knowing your career, of what you said that stuck out in my mind.
What did I say?
Well,
Tell
you
me.
said to me, what I remember most is when you said, I want to be out there so badly still. Your passion for being in the car, winning championship, and I won this and I won that and whatever. But what stood out to me was that you love driving much.
I love driving the car. I really do. It just, it does a lot of things for me. It gives me, the great feeling of winning. Who doesn't like that, especially in this sport? It pays dues. I get even when I need to, or feel like I need to. It just, it does so much for me, and it makes you feel so good to do so well. And there's so many most opportunities out here is you go away downhearted. You feel, on the downside a lot more than you feel on the upside, big time. What a great day, because it's a hard thing to do, to come here and win and knock them dead and make the day turn into exactly the way you wanted it to. And, for things to fall in place, it just doesn't happen that easy out here. We don't have spotters, and we don't have, only,
You can't make a mistake and come back from it.
No, there's no, one strike and you're out. And there is no sandbagging on the backstretch. And there's no, I'll kind of get up where there's marbles and I can kind of get back in the field and, or blame it on the pit stop. There's just a lot of...
You've never won a fuel mileage race, have you?
You know where I'm going, don't you? So this is, you get one shot at it. Make it good. Because if it isn't good enough... you're going to have to wait till the next race.
Let's go back in time a little bit to the day you won Indy.
Oh, God. Well, I know I was pitted right across from Billy Meyer in the pits. Remember, we had a little tiny trailer, and we were all excited that weekend because we had this little trailer. And I'm making coffee for Leo Mel, the world racing director for Goodyear, and he's sitting in there, and we're all talking. And Perdome's having a whole lot of trouble with his combination. And we kept telling him, man, kind of move it around, shift it this way. And he, in those days, you couldn't tell him anything. And he wouldn't listen to us. And there was a big piston problem that weekend. Everybody was dealing with a certain piston that was supposed to be forged, and it wasn't. It was a cast piece, and parts were coming apart like crazy. But as the day went on, I think I qualified third, if my memory's what I think it is. And Lucille Lee, whose car ran pretty good that week, she left the starting line and wasn't paying attention. She just wasn't paying attention and picked the front end up, and she drove it over the center line. So that eliminated her. But I'm not even sure I would have raced her. But I did race Billy Williams, and he wanted that win so bad he drove it off the end, and he drove it, right into the net. He was not going to lift for anything. But what I most remember is the final. Coletta had, as usual, he went through everything he had because he had it on, excuse the expression, kill. And Bernstein loaned him an engine. I don't know if it was a short black or a race-ready, complete, dropped-in bullet. But he went to the starting line. And I was in the left lane, I think, because I had lane choice. And I remember at the last minute, because I saw it on film, my son John went up and did one little thing, and Mike Couch, Buster Couch's son, went right over and ushered him right out. That's it. Out of the way. The race is on. And then standing beside all my guys is a guy that was been around the sport forever and done marvelous things for drag racing, and is not nearly appreciated as much as he should be. A guy named Bob DeVore. Worked for Centerline Wheels at the time, and I remember watching him on the film. He looked down. He looked at the ground. He couldn't watch as the stage lights started to come on. He couldn't watch, and he just buried his head down in the ground. And Coletta looked over, and I remember he adjusted his glove. His left hand was up in the air, and he was adjusting the fingers. I'm going, what's with this? But as it turned out, he got left on. His car made a little squirt. He may have stuck a wheel out there in front of me, maybe. But then the power came on, and I looked over at three-quarter track. And then I looked over at about 1,100 feet, and I just kept saying, come on. Come on. And it seemed like it took forever. But I crossed the finish line, and I looked over, and I didn't see him. And I had won Indy. Crazy stuff, boy.
All the races and all the championships, that's still the biggest one.
I would take that above anything I've ever done. And the grandstand stands right alongside of it.
Do you realize everybody now that buys the best ticket to the U.S. Nationals is going to say Shirley Muldowney grandstand, Section 5, row 6, seat whatever.
Do you know what I have? And it's in.
I saw it.
I think it's gold.
It's gold.
At $2,000 an ounce. It says seat 1, row 1, section 1. I have the very, very first ticket, but I know what I'm going to try to do. Maybe next year.
Sneak in.
I'm going to go incognito, and I'm going to sit up in those stands, and I'm going to just kind of see how many people pick up on it. And I won't wear my Matt Hagen hat. I won't wear my Doug Herbert hat. I won't even wear a pink hat. I may even change the hair, but I'm just going to see how many people recognize me up there.
It's such a great moment. And going back to the U.S. Nationals, this race has been such an event that your description of it, just it's an emotional moment thinking about it.
Yeah.
They made a Hollywood feature about it. How similar to what you described was the film? Just that moment, the way they captured the build-up to it, animosity.
Well, they had to put an hour and 40 some odd years into an hour and 59 minutes. So you have to understand, there were a couple licensing tests. When I took the funny car test, and then I upgraded to Top Fuel. Well, I'd already run 220 mile an hour in Don Schumacher's car that he loaned me. So, I had the mile an hour under my belt. All I had to do was the upgrade. Garlett signed it because he thought, oh, that's great ink, and this isn't going anywhere. Yeah. Tommy Ivo signed it, was the second licensed driver to sign because he thought, oh, boy, what a match race partner, and are we going to kill him on the match race circuit? And then Coletta did it really, truly, because we were friends, out of the goodness of his heart. So I had my 3 signatures. I went on to really do really well in Pancho Rendon's car, and then I never looked back from there. It happened in Cayuga, good racetrack, and I loved the 3 years in funny cars, even though I was ablaze as often as I can. More times than I can remember, but those cars today, I'm glad the women out here now don't have to drive what I drove back then. And it was, taking your life in your hands. But we weren't smart enough to really realize that. All we wanted was ET and mile an hour.
What's next for Shirley? I know that you've talked about trying to put some deals together. I know you've had some people that you've been in negotiations with. Is there anything on the burner now, or any?
A lot of people with good intentions. Some, will come and waste your time. They think it's, maybe a status thing to say, I'm going to get Shirley a sponsor, or I tried. We're really not sure. I really would love to run 10 of the biggest races. I'm not so sure about driving for someone, but I still have the goods. I can drive that race car. I did it for 30 years. They're no different now than they were when I took my last pass in 2003. Maybe some of the components are, but as far as driving the car, no. I wouldn't. I would probably be no doubt the weak link, because I haven't had any reaction time experience since 2003, but I'll pick up on that in a few races. I trust me.
Shirley Muldowney, the weak link, are not words that I would ever use in the same sentence.
Well, I got to be honest about it. I would say that would probably be the weak link as far as getting reaction time down. And there's no guarantees. Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're not so good. It just depends. It's a mind trip out there, and to just say some driver comes out and has 2 or 3 good reaction times, all of a sudden I hear, bless his heart, Paul Page, oh, that driver's awesome. I think that's a word that's used way too much in our sport.
Shirley, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I know, Alan,
I need to get back to work since we're racing again. We got through the rain shower, so.
Okay. Nice talking to you guys.
Always nice seeing you.
I appreciate it. You do a good job for our sport. You really do. And I always want to, and I don't, I should, and I will. If I offend anyone, my heart goes out to you. It's not malicious. It's simply, the truth in my eyes, and that's the only way I know how to say it.
The legendary Shirley Muldowney. Shirley, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on WFO Radio. Alan, thank you. Get out there and work.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
That's going to do it. We'll be back after this on WFO Radio.